And we are back, and it is time for the Else Views. This is the part of the show where I bring you a couple of things because Corey didn't bring anything for it. But where we talk about the TV shows.
Brought my balls you can eat.
No, I've had enough nuts today. But I have a couple of TV shows that I'm going to talk about here. The first one is a TV show that I love but also hate at the same time. Not like hate like it's horrible, but hate in this is something that they had on the show before, and then they took it away, and now they gave it to a white guy. And that the show is called Problematic with Moshe Kasher. And I'm comparing it because it seems a lot like the discussion topics that they had on the Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. And it was one of those like, and like they're tackling a lot of the same, a lot of the same issues they've had 3 episodes, and it's one of those shows where they're tackling these things. Like the first one was cultural appropriation, where they had on Kenya Barris, the creator of Blackish on ABC, and they were talking about, Kendall Jenner, Kylie Jenner, whoever cares, how she was, she's wearing dreads and what the dreads mean, dreadlocks and what they mean and all that stuff. And how do we, surprisingly, they didn't hit anything about college. I don't think they really hit anything about like with college people, like the kids do, like obviously not doing blackface because that is wrong, but where they about like taking people's culture, we get the white rapper and
Culture
stuff like
that.
Yeah. Have you seen it, Corey?
No, it's one of those things that I would like to see. It doesn't remind me as much from what I've seen of the commercials, and I think I skipped past it at one point because it was already in the middle of an episode. It doesn't remind me as much of the Nightly Show as it reminds me of several shows that they've tried with a similar format, but about different subjects. It kind of like the Not Safe with Nikki Glazer. And
except for Not Safe is just strictly sex stuff.
Right. That was her thing, but and there was the other one, the guy who used to date Amy Schumer, Jordan something, I don't remember it, but he had a talk show. It seems like they have a comedian who's done a few things, like gets known from being on their roasts or being a guest on At Midnight, and they're like, okay, let's give them a pilot and give them a show where they can talk to people. It's done on the cheap, and it's built around their comedy and their style, and then they just go ahead and they follow through with it. It's harder to come up with a sketch show because you have to have talented people like Dave Chappelle or Key and Peele to make that work. But the shows where it's like, I'm a comedian, I've got comedian friends, and we all sit around and shoot the shit and we talk about whatever my subject matter is that week. And sometimes we have porn actors act out the stuff. That seems like a very Comedy Central thing to do. It's like they're just going to keep trying to until they can capture lightning again.
And I would even say, and I am going to include the UK version of Comedy Central because they have a show over there that I think is a fun show called The Chris Ramsey Show that they could do over here. But it's that similar thing, but it's like them doing stuff more around the internet. Not in the At Midnight sense, but in the, like, you take Not Safe and you do, and the Not Safe show and Problematic, and how they have these little like games and challenges and stuff like that. That I agree with you. So far, Problematic, they've aired 3 episodes. Islamophobia was the latest one. Cultural appropriation was the first one, and then what was it? It wasn't technophobia. It was are we too and this is an interesting one with the how we are doing this, but are we too much into tech? Are we too tech dependent on things? And actually that one had Baratunde Thurston on there, and it was great seeing Baratunde on there. But the show is really interesting, and I do enjoy the show mainly for the fact of how the format is, where they talk about the show, like for example the cultural appropriation show. They they did, or Moshe sat down with, I'm blanking on his name. He's a very early rapper. Like he's one of the first white rappers um to, be big. And he was talking about, the whole cultural appropriation thing. Like, does he feel like he is appropriating the culture by being a rapper and also being white and Jewish? And he's like, yes, but no, because yes, because I am a white man and I am Jewish, but no, because of the fact that of where I'm from. I'm from Brooklyn. I've lived these things out, and so I can, not the Beastie Boys. It was before the Beastie. I think he was in there before the Beastie Boys. Um, and the and just talk about all these, like all these different things, and it brings better understanding to me for a lot of these subjects. Like Islamophobia, I knew that was a thing, and like I'm not Islamophobic at all, but I mean I understand where people are coming from, although I feel it's ridiculous. I enjoy the show. That's what I'm getting at. I think this is something that's interesting. I do think you're right, where Comedy Central can do Not Safe with Nikki Glazer.
It was Anthony Jeselnik. The Jeselnik Offensive is the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Like these shows seem safer than a sketch show because a lot, like you said, I mean, Key and Peele was the last sketch show that they had. And like, even though I feel like they had some good comedians on there to do sketch shows. I'm looking at, like Mind of Mencia was good. Um, the Dimitri Martin one that they had was good. It was just like maybe might have been too early or something like that.
I mean, that's exactly what it is, though, is that Comedy Central looks to comedians because that's who they've got relationships with. That's what their whole basis of their network is about. And they've had enough of them guest on different things there. And they say, pitch us a show. And so if your stuff leans more towards sketch comedy, then that's the kind of show you're going to pitch. If your stuff leans more towards conversational tone comedy, then that's where the panelist, the punditry is going to make sense. And that seems like where he would have landed. That's most of the stuff that I've seen him on. Is I haven't seen a lot of his stand-up, but I've seen him guest on things and be funny, having conversational tones with people. He's just someone who's naturally funny and has smart opinions that he can express well. And that's what you need to host this kind of show.
And Beats mentioning Hassan Minaj should get a bigger shot. And Hassan was on the Islamophobia episode. So my other nerding out that I have for you, or ElseView, is a show on Netflix called Girlboss. Now this is based off of a book or based off of a memoir that it's like really loosely like based on the on that book or whatever. But this stars Britt Robertson, and it's set in like 2006, I think, like the early 2000s. And it's about this girl who is working, or actually no, she's not really working, but she's trying to make it in San Francisco, and she discovers eBay and online selling and becoming an online retailer, and quite literally hilarity ensues. I usually say that to quit describing the show, but no, it is just hilarious stuff is ensuing. And like for example, the first episode, she sells this vintage jacket, and this is when she realizes, hey, I think I could actually do this. Second episode, she injures herself, stretching because she's a shorter girl trying to reach at the top shelf where she's trying to get this peanut butter, and pulls or gives herself a hernia and all that. So she gets a job working at the Academy of Arts over there in San Francisco, basically as a door person, just like, okay, you got your ID, okay, go. working with Norm Macdonald, who is great in this show. And it is such a small part that he has. And she's only doing that to get insurance while she's also expanding her line of clothes. The show, I had seen some advertisements for it on Netflix, but it fell relatively under my radar. It is so good. It is so funny. And it is one of those where you can just sit there and probably binge through all 13 episodes. I think I'm on 5, like 4 or 5. I'm still fairly early on in there. But yeah, I really enjoy this. I think it'll fit in here with our viewer base. And also it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, so I mean, come on, it's an easy pick.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it, and I've been seeing some chatter about it online. I didn't realize that the lead, Britt Robertson, was the girl from Tomorrowland, which is a movie that I really liked, and is another one that I wish would have done better in the theater. And she was very good in that.
Yeah. Britt Robertson, she was first came onto the scene really big with Life Unexpected on the CW. Then went to Tomorrowland and had done a few other movies before getting this role. But yeah, I mean, and I will warn these sensitive ears that there's a lot of swearing, especially from Britt Robertson's character. I mean, it is just like some of the word. I'm like, all right, if there's the episode of South Park, I've only seen like 3 episodes of South Park. One of them was the cursed words episode where they did a counter of the times that they said fuck.
Yep.
This would blow that out of the water.
And was it fuck or shit? I thought it was they were cutting down shit.
Yeah, it was shit. They wanted to do fuck, but I don't think the
they weren't there yet. We weren't at the place where we could get away with that, but shit was good times.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like, you get the amount of curse words just goes out. It gets funny with how many times she ends up swearing, where it's just like she runs out of gas. Oh fuck! She gets a ticket because I guess in San Francisco you're supposed to turn your wheels towards the curb, and she's like,
yeah, because if you slide down a hill, you want to make sure that your car is gonna not go straight down the hill.
Well, hold on, because I understand the logic, but she goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? I'm not even on a hill." Yeah.
You just gotta always plan for it.
Yeah.
Because we're Northern California. We may shake apart at any point in time. Where it started as a flat surface when we were there can turn into a hill very quickly.
I wouldn't know. I live in Michigan. But no, honestly, those are 2 picks that I got for you guys. In lieu of Corey not having anything. Although I will say, American Gods episode 2 was really good. I was actually talking about it with a friend because I'm like, and I played the video that Beat posted on our Facebook, the Galactic Nightcast Facebook page of Neil Gaiman explaining American Gods. While I was at work, and I'm like, it is so good. Seeing Orlando Jordan? What's the played Mr. Nancy on here?
I don't know because I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
Oh, well, but, okay. Orlando Jones.
Right, it is Orlando Jones.
Yeah, Orlando Jones as Mr. Nancy, so good, and that's right there at the beginning. But yeah, you know what? Fuck you. And I wish I had a fake Guardians of the Galaxy 2 spoiler, but I don't. But yeah, so that is the ElseViews, and we will be right back.